Welcome back, everyone. I'm Jason and you're watching Jason Jensen Trains. Today we are back working on my large Sci-Fi G-scale layout. For those of you who are new to the channel, I am building a Sci-Fi layout which is in my basement, which is basically my theater room. And it is just to display all of my action figures and toys that I've collected ever since I was a kid. Now, the reason I'm doing G scale is because all of the figures are 3 3/4 of an inch tall. So G scale is the closest thing to fit that scale, which is 1/18 scale. Now, all of the track on the layout is O scale, but again, it has G scale equipment. And all of the equipment has to be completely scratch built, or at least kit bashed. All right, so for today's episode, we're going to be working in this area right here. I want to finish this section down here. So we'll rust this big pipe. We're going to add screen to the front of it. We'll add some water to match the water that we already have right here. And I want to add some lights. I want to add lights in this level and this level because this is pretty well lit down here. And then we have lights up here, but it's a little dark here in the center. All right, well, we have a lot to do today, so let's get to it. So the first thing we're going to do is work on our large drain pipe. And all this is, I took 2 coffee containers, Folgers, and I cut the end off of one so that you could see all the way through. Then I put them together the way I wanted them, and then took duct tape and taped it. And then I sprayed a primer over it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add rivets, a lot of rivets. I got this at, I believe, Michael's craft store, and it's just little beads. But we're going to glue them on to look like rivets. Okay, I first did a misting of a gray primer, and then I did a misting of this rust color. So I've got some little plastic pieces from model kits and toys. This is from a super soaker. So I just put a wash after I painted it, a primer gray and then this aqua color. I then put a wash of bittersweet chocolate and just put a lot of water and did a wash. Now what I'm going to do is take our bittersweet chocolate and we're just going to sponge on some rust. Now I'm using medium rust and added some water to it and just sort of creating a wash with it. Now we'll just quick do some dry brushing. This bottle will last me probably for years. This paint is so thick and it doesn't take much at all. So it is definitely worth the money. Just going over some of the edges just to bring out some of the detail. Now this, I'm holding it in the direction that it's going to go on the diorama. So I just want to brush down to give it a natural highlight. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is get everything glued in place. Some of this stuff is just sitting here. I'll be using liquid nails. Then at the same time, all the little pieces that we painted are also going to get glued in place. Then we can start to string some more wire and shoelaces to give the appearance of hoses and wires hanging down. Maybe before we do that, we need to add more rust. This platform has not been rusted yet. This platform here has not been rusted yet. And then we need to add rust to the side of all these. All right, so let's get started gluing stuff in place. So this is simply made from mat board, and I showed this in a previous episode. As you can see, it's just 2 layers. The door is 1 layer, and then the frame is another layer. Okay, so I'm using medium rust and a lot of water, and now I'm just going to start doing a wash, and then next we'll go over this with a sponge and a dark rust. Okay, now we're going to take bittersweet chocolate and a sponge, add some dark rust. Okay, let's see what it looks like with our big drain pipe put in place. So as you can see, I've cut this wire screen that's going to go on the front of it, and it'll actually go inside that little lip that is on the outer edge. But first, we're going to paint the inside of this and add some dirt and water. So first I'm going to start with some chalk paint. It's called Castle. So I quick took this into my shop and I painted the bottom of it a really dark gray. Then while it was wet, I quick sprinkled on real dirt and then sprayed it with a spray bottle so that that dark gray would soak up through the dirt. I then took a green wash and just kind of drizzled it here and there down the center to give it a green murky look. So now we'll do this section out here. So we have to match what's in here and then also match what's out here already. Then when it all dries, we'll put a high gloss polyurethane over it. Okay, let's install our catwalk. All right, now we got to put on that little bridge. So for the lights, I'm using tea light candles, and I just popped off the little thing that, it's a clear piece of plastic that looks like a little flame, and I just pulled those off. And then I made these, which will get glued just like this up underneath, and then I'll slide these in. So next I'm going to paint these a really dark gray, and then we can go ahead and get these glued in place. Alright, so let's take a look at the final scene. So I have some exciting news. I am now on Patreon. So if you like my videos and enjoy learning new tips and techniques from me, please consider supporting the channel. You can visit Patreon and go to Jason Jensen Trains. Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed today's video. This was such a fun project. Thank you so much for watching, and happy modeling, everyone.